I grew up in College Station ISD, and now I'm employed there. It's so crazy to like work where you grew up and you still see teachers and you're like, sorry about that one time. I got my undergraduate from Sam Houston State University and became a resource teacher, and I taught elementary school. After that, I went to middle school adaptive behavior. So middle school, boys, hormones, anger, all of that. It was 100% my wheelhouse. I loved being a middle school teacher with everything in me. I moved up. I told my kids I was going to go work for the district so I could teach everyone how to be awesome like we were. I went to work for central office. I got my BCBA, so I am a board certified behavior analyst. I do not practice in a clinical setting, but I did learn everything in a clinical setting, and then I applied it to my classroom environment. So the number one takeaway, if there's any pictures you take, anything that you would like to just remember, it's behavior is communication. Every single thing that we do is communicating something. Whether we are talking, acting, looking, pointing, shouting, stomping, anything you can think of is a form of communication. And we're trying to say something or tell you something in some way. And my job as a teacher was to figure out how to listen to them. And then to teach other people how to hear what they were saying and how to listen. And I know it's hard sometimes when you think of communication like it has to be verbal, but I think I'm speaking to the right crowd when I say it doesn't have to always be what you say. I can get a lot accomplished by doing this. And everyone knows like the look. And you know the mom look and the mom voice when you're like, hey, do you want to go outside and talk? Or like, do you want to go outside? Because we can talk. Right? So it's not even what I'm saying, but it's how I'm saying it. And that's kind of where some of our kids or our adults in our families struggle the most. I love my mother-in-law, but sometimes she gives me the look and I'm like, oh, what did I do? So behavior is always communicating something. There are four functions of behavior. And I always try to think of it as everybody eats. Everyone's going to eat. So there's an escape, attention, tangibles, and sensory are the different functions. And we're going to talk about all four of those. And we're going to use examples throughout. I'm going to be very cautious not to use names in any of the things that I talk about, but I do have a lot of experience from elementary resource, middle school adaptive behavior, and I also have the honor of being a powerlifting coach for the College Station A team. So I'm a Special Olympics coach as well. It's my side gig. I kind of love it. I'm trying to figure out how to retire and just be a Special Olympics coach, but apparently that's not a job. I'll figure it out whenever it is. So the laying the foundation for behavior strategies, we want to make sure that they're predictable and they're consistent are the first two pillars. Think about a house that's got four walls. We want to make sure that all of our walls are really solid in foundation. I was like, one second, I'm going to scoop this up. That's much better. So when things are predictable, we want to make sure that children and our adults and the people in our family know what to expect daily with schedules and routines. We all know when we go to get to work that day and the train stops in front of us, it kind of throws everything off just for a little bit in time. So having those predictable routines, the visual schedules, having things organized as much as possible, that helps the person who needs it, not necessarily you. The biggest piece in my house that I learned this last year, and it was a laundry basket. My kiddo had a laundry basket in her classroom. My youngest child had a laundry basket in her room, and her room was beautifully organized. So I had the laundry basket right next to the door, so when I went to do laundry, it was really easy for me to grab and take to the laundry room. The laundry didn't end up in the laundry basket. It was on the floor, on the other side of the room. So all I did was manipulate her environment, and I moved the laundry basket over. Because in her mind, it made sense. Here's where I change clothes. So I'm going to throw my clothes on the floor so that I can put on my pajamas. And in my mom brain, I was going, can you just turn and put it in the basket? And she was like, can you just move the basket? So we moved the basket. She won. It's totally fine. But I also feel like I won because now the laundry is in the basket and not on the floor. Our next challenge is the shoes. If anyone has an idea on how to get shoes not everywhere in your house, I will be over there later to take recommendations. Thank you. Because shoes can get me. I also want to make sure that we scaffold their skills that they're doing within their house. My oldest child is the prize-honored, independent one. She was doing her own laundry at 5 years old, all by herself. There was a sticky note on the washing machine of where you had to turn the dial, and she did it all. My youngest one couldn't open the laundry door to save her life. Like, I think she thinks something is hiding on the inside. And I'm like, can you put your laundry in? And she's like, I don't know how. Well, you open the door. Step 1. Step 2, put it in. Right? And so then she says, hey, the laundry's in the washer. Now I just want to start the washing machine for her. Eventually we'll start to scaffold those steps, and the next thing I'm going to be like, great, so now you're going to shut the door and turn the knob. And then put the laundry detergent inside the washing machine. So all these different steps we're gonna learn to where she's been able to do her own laundry. She's also 9 and she's the baby of the family, so she is really good at like, I don't know how. And someone else will do it for her. The next pillar of the house is making sure that it's consistent. We want to consistently respond to things every time if at all possible. In our house, we have the mom way to do things. And then when we get mad at mom, we go to dad, and then we get to do whatever we want because it's dad, and he's our pushover, and it's totally fine. But they know whenever something's going to happen, I'm going to consistently respond the exact same way. They also know when they want $5, dad's going to respond the exact same way. Our oldest is now driving. She tells me I need to get gas in my car, and I say, okay, make sure you go when it's well lit outside. She tells my husband, hey daddy, I need to get gas in my car, and he says, well, get on in. I'll go to the gas station with you, and then he pays for it. She's learned this. He hasn't yet. He's gonna figure it out soon. I have full faith in him. So making sure that we have consistent responses when behaviors are present is gonna make sure that we really kind of shape those behaviors, and that expectations are clear and everyone is on board. We all know grandma's house, right? We're like, no, we are eating our vegetables before you have the ice cream, unless you go to grandma's, and then you're gonna pretty much get to do whatever you want to do, right? So making sure that everybody is on board if you're doing a big behavior change, or we're trying to replace a behavior or teach a new behavior or reinforce a skill, we wanna make sure everyone is celebrating the exact same thing. That way we're really reinforcing what's happening along the way. Am I going too fast? Perfect. I took a pre-workout right before this started, so when it kicks in, we're gonna rock and roll. We wanna make sure that everything is positive and of course that everything is safe. Antecedent strategies are things that we put in place in front of a behavior occurring to create an environment that's gonna be supportive, and it's gonna set up those clear expectations. If you've got siblings in the house, friends down the street, all those different things, even us as adults working with our kids or our other adults, our adult children. I can't believe some of these kiddos that I've had since kindergarten are now adults. It's fine. But we can do peer teaching and we can do modeling with them. These are the things that I expect. The hardest part then is keeping ourselves in check. I know I'm raising a 16-year-old at home, and when I tell her, this is how you respond when you're frustrated, until a car cuts me off. And then I don't always model that great expectations. So it's remembering that every single time when we're doing these habits and we're setting these things into place, that we are being clear, consistent, and we're being positive. And the last one is going to be safe. We want to make sure that our children understand expectations and they're given lots of opportunities to engage and to grow and in a safe manner. We never want them to do something that's unsafe. And never ever would be like, yes, try to go across the street and see if it works. It's not. No, we're going to teach them how to do it appropriately instead of trial and error on that one. So you'll hear a lot of times that we want to strike when the iron is cold by setting things up for success. Obviously, we don't want to wait until we're in a moment of frustration and then try to teach a lesson. It's like being told to calm down. Never in the history of ever has being told to calm down actually calmed someone down. I'm just going to tell you that. Never, not ever. If my husband told me to calm down, every wrench that we had in our garage would be in the middle of the street. It's not going to work. So having these conversations and teaching these things beforehand, or letting the dust settle in a situation come back down before we try to teach, hey, next time, can we try this? Can we say this? I know that you got really upset and you were using your hands to tell me what you wanted, but maybe we could use our hands in another way instead. We want to give ample time so that we can teach activities, reinforce them, and teach them again. How many people have taught their children how to brush their teeth? How many people still remind their children daily to brush their teeth? There we go. Okay, so these lessons, that's my favorite thing to ask teachers whenever I'm working in a classroom with teachers, and they're like, but I taught them the expectations. And I'm like, she's 16 years old and has brushed her teeth 2 times a day for 16 years of life, and I still say, Maddie, did you brush your teeth? Please go brush your teeth before you go to bed, right? We're still gonna remind that, and we're still gonna put that prompt in place. I've probably made her prompt dependent, but her teeth are brushed, so it's okay. So we want to make sure that when we practice activities and we're learning new activities, we're not rushed in the moment, so that helps to bring our frustration down and lets them to learn when more opportunities. If change comes up, communicate that as quickly as possible. Schedules and planning, it makes me think of driving when I go to Houston. I can leave College Station and I know I have to go to Houston. So I can either go Highway 6 all the way to 290 and to Buc-ee's, or I always get to cheer for Buc-ee's. I can leave here and I can go 105 to the toll road. There's a really good Sonic in Tomball. It's not a Buc-ee's, but it's a really good Sonic. Okay, so those are the 2 paths I can go. Scheduling and planning as an adult, I look at my map before I leave to go anywhere. Is there a wreck? Is there traffic? What's going on? And it helps me pick a path. So when we're doing things with our children or our adult children, think about that schedule and those planning of those things. Working backwards, hey, we have to be at school at 8, which means we have to leave by 7:30, which means you need to be ready to walk out of the door by 7:25 because they're always late. Always. Which means you need to make sure that your teeth are brushed by 7:15 or that your lunch is packed by 7:10. And then it helps create a schedule that you can follow from the beginning to the end. Just like if I was going to go to Houston and I had to be there by 3, I would back up my day. So I'm a huge backwards planner. That's a word. Because it helps you to understand what I need to get done in what order in order to reach the final destination. Be aware how your kiddos respond to busy schedules. My children love to be busy, unless it's Sunday. That is the day of their downtime, their debrief, and if I plan something on a Sunday, I will hear about it for the next 7 days. And I know that. They are busy all of the time. I know that. In coaching my wonderful powerlifting team, I tried to be proactive around a football game this year. We had 8:00 a.m. practice on a Saturday. We will never, not ever, have 8 a.m. practice on a Saturday again. It was awful. But that's a piece that I had to know, learn, realize, and then I have to remember moving forward. If this is not something that my athletes like, this was not something the coaches or the partners liked either. It was really early. So make sure that we understand that if your kiddo likes having busy schedules, they like being go, 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 they need to stay busy or stay active, or if they really need some time to decompress, and they can do both, but really kind of keeping an eye on like 2 days of go, 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 1 day of just chill out. And then providing specific time estimates. I was always in my classroom notorious for saying, we've got about 5 minutes left. About is a very hard word to understand. We have about 2 minutes left. All right, guys, we've got about 30 seconds because some of my class was like, and it's time now. And I was like, well, the bell hasn't rung, but you said 2 minutes. Well, but I don't control the bell. Well, then why did you say 2 minutes if it was going to be 2 minutes and 12 seconds? I didn't do it to make you angry. I just did it because it was about. And so that was a lesson that we learned a lot, is what does about mean? It also comes with reinforcement. If you reinforce someone every single time they do something or every 3rd time they do it, they're only going to be motivated to do it on the 3rd time. If I only get motivated every time I lose 10 pounds, I'm going to be really frustrated at pound number 6 and angry at pound number 7. 8, I might feel better. 9, I'm getting there. And then at pound 10, I'm like, I can do this. So when we think about it in terms of different things that we do daily in our lives, we want to make sure that we have specific time examples, but also with that little bit of about, we'll give you a little bit more leeway. If you've got kiddos that are clock watchers, which my class always was. Visuals is another way that we can set up our environment and our classroom our environment and our world for success. They aren't just for school at all, and they can help with multiple areas. I always talk with my teachers, staff when I meet with them and say, they'll tell me, well, visuals are just for little kids. We don't use them for adults. And I'm like, great, take the stop sign down and tell me what happens. It's not going to be pretty because we're used to following that visual of telling us what to do. We follow visual schedules. I know that when my clock says a certain time, that's a visual, that I'm going to be doing certain things. I follow a recipe that's written in front of me so that I can make dinner. I'm not going to wing it. It's not going to be pretty. If you find something that you have to repeat all the time, make a visual for it. Oh, I should do that with the shoes. I could have a basket and I could put a shoe picture on it, and then she could put her shoes closer to the shoe picture, right? So we can have these visuals in place of like, this is what needs to happen. I have a visual with my oldest who's learning how to drive. Here's where you stop so you don't hit the house. It's a very important visual. Please don't drive into my house, right? And so making sure, it also helps us reduce the verbal fatigue. We line all of our backpacks up whenever we come home, and so my kiddo is the first one. I am the second one, and then my oldest comes in third. And it's so funny to me that she puts her backpack on the floor with the rest of ours. Because it's the visual, that's where everyone else's stuff is, so that's where hers goes as well. Positive reinforcement can also be used as the visual for a token board, burst spins, and behavior mapping. Behavior mapping is one of my favorite tools that I've ever used in my classroom or in my life with my kiddos. So token boards are used in a sense of, it's kind of like getting a paycheck. You do something, you're gonna get paid for it. You're gonna do something, you're gonna get paid for it. First then is just saying, first we're gonna do this, then we're going to do that. If we're following a schedule, first we're gonna hear, then we're gonna lift. First I'm gonna warm up, then we have bench press. First get out your notebooks, and then we're gonna do our math work. I use this language all the time, and I don't even realize it anymore. And it just helps me kind of keep going with first I'm gonna do, then I'm gonna do that. First I'm going to Christmas shop, and then I'm gonna fill my own stocking with all the good things that I want to put in my stocking, right? Behavior mapping is simply a contingency map. We do not have an example, but I'll make a graphic for you. It's gonna be great. So if there's a behavior that occurs or something that we want, there's always two choices we can make. And so we map out a lot of times with our kiddos what the choices are. You want to go get ice cream after school today. You can get in the car and say, hey mom, I had a great day. I'd like to get ice cream after school today, in whatever way you say that. We can go get ice cream after school, or we can talk about options for getting it later on in the week. Set a date. Back to the beginning part. We can want to go get ice cream after school today. We can throw our backpack at me, scream ice cream at me a couple of 100 times, and then refuse to get out of the car until we go get ice cream. Well, now we've used all this time yelling about wanting ice cream. We're not going to be able to get it right now because we have to do whatever the first then was, and then we'll have to talk about other ways that we can do it later. So behavior mapping always talks about there's always choices you can make. It's what happens after we make that choice is the consequence that comes with that behavior piece. Some of my kids, when they were older, middle school age, they would say they got homework. Well, I don't want to do the homework. Okay, well, you can do the homework now, or the work now. We can get it done and knocked out, or we can not do our work. We can decide to do it later. We can use our recess. We can not get to play football because our grades are failing. Like, those are the options. And so the kids were like, well, it's not fair. I was like, no, it's nothing about being fair. We've literally mapped it out. You are more than welcome to make the choice. Do you want to play football or do you not? And so then it kind of helped correlate everything back to what decision was made. And then some of my kiddos really learned that they had only had to do like 7 out of 10 problems, and it was still a 70, and they still passed. And I was like, whatever. Picking my battles, that's not what I was willing to fight. Setting the tone. Know what you need to self-regulate in order to do the same for your child. Your reactions and your emotions affect everyone's. You cannot control someone else's behavior. You can only control your behavior and how that impacts the world around you. Have a plan to tag out if possible. And depending on their skill level, share, not shar, share with your child how you feel to normalize different emotions that you have. So we know that my husband and I, he is very quick. I am very slow when it comes to emotions, feelings, and responses. So if something's gonna happen, he is very quick to say, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's going on, and this is what I need. I am not. I am the quiet, think it out person in the family, which is kind of scary. And they tell me all the time I'm the scary one. But like Dad will just say, hey, he said he was frustrated, I should have had my grades up, I'm gonna be grounded for a week. I, on the other hand, am like, I'm gonna need you to come back and we're gonna talk about this. But first, I need to figure out my feelings. And my kids are like, can you just be mad? And I'm like, I don't feel mad. What I feel is disappointment, and like, oh, no, it's big words. Just be mad, sad, or happy. That's way easier. But it's more fun, it's more fulfilling if we really sit and talk about, this is what I'm feeling, this is why, and this is how I self-regulate. I am a walker, and I am a pacer, and I do this. This is my little moment here. The ladies in the back work with me at the school district, and I fidget with my necklace if I have it on, which is why I'm not wearing it tonight. Are you here? This the whole time I'm talking. So whenever I get nervous and I start to do this in a meeting with my hair, someone knows we need to call a break. We call a break, we come out and we're like, what's going on? And I'm like, nothing, fine. And like, your eyebrows are way down here, and you've almost stretched this hair one more foot in length than where it actually is. And I'm like, well, this is what I'm feeling, and this is why I'm feeling that way. And then I get it out, I discuss it, and then we're all okay. But I know what my tells are. I know when I start to do that, I'm like, okay, here's where I'm at. I can tell the tells of the different people in my house. My husband, his entire face turns white, and then his ears turn really red. And I'm like, everybody out, it's time, right? And so you start to kind of learn the little habits and the routines of the people around you. One of my kids was the sweetest kid ever, and went from 0 to 170 in about a split second. But he was a finger stretcher. And after a couple of years of working with him, we would notice before he got upset, he would literally start to under the desk and kind of mess with his fingers. And as soon as we saw that, we were like, okay, hey, do you want to come take a walk with me? And he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, I think it'd be really cool. I saw a bird like fly off the roof, and I think it went into a tree hole. Can you come and see the bird in the tree hole with me? And he was like, sure, because now you're weird. And so we'd walk out, and I was like, what is going on? And he was like, nothing. I was like, no, I can tell. And he was like, okay, well, I'm really mad because I wasn't talking. Johnny was talking next to me, but she keeps looking at me like it's me talking. And so now I think she's mad at me. And I was like, okay, see, there was something going on. You just didn't know it yet, but I can tell. Again, they all thought I was creepy. It's fine. So watching for those different patterns, those different behaviors, those different things. Sometimes it's a change in voice. Sometimes it's just change in breathing. Sometimes your whole face changes colors, or someone else's does. So kind of looking for those things helps you to see if we need to tag in or out, or if your kid's starting to have a child or adult child is starting to have a response and they're just not aware of it yet. Even when we do all of these amazing, wonderful, beautiful things, behavior still happens. The best thing about behavior is if you accidentally reinforce something negative, they're going to give you an opportunity to try again. So even when they act up, they're going to try it again if it didn't work the first time to de-escalate the behavior. So we talked about the 4 functions of behavior in the beginning. The first one is escape maintained. This is doing something to get out of something or to avoid it altogether. Earlier we talked about my traffic going to Houston. So I can delay, avoid, or end an unwanted task, or I can avoid an unpleasant task altogether. If I know there's going to be a wreck, I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go a different way. I see this in a classroom whenever you walk into the door and you're like, oh, there's a substitute, and they just make a U-turn and walk right back the way they came. My husband does this at my mother's house when my aunt is in town. He will walk in and he's like, whoo, she's here. Her car's in the driveway. I'm going to mow the grass. I'm like, it is January. There is no reason to mow the grass. And he's like, I'm not going in there. I'm like, okay. So what people can do to try to escape a task can depend on the environment they're in. If there's work, tasks, or chores, there may be things that are too difficult. There may be things that they see as work that you may not see as work. If it's social situations, that can be a struggle. It is for my husband. He doesn't do people. He does our people, but he doesn't do other people very well. So when we walk into rooms and there's a lot of people in there, he will either find a reason he has got to go back to the car. That means I am not going to see him again. Or he will figure out a way for us to get in, me to talk to everyone I want to talk to, and for us to get back out. Sometimes it's a sensory experience or an environment. Some activities, settings may be too loud. We all know when we go into a room and the light flickers, and then before you know it, you're kind of like eye twitching about it, and you're like, this is giving me a headache, I just can't do it. Or the air conditioner is making a weird speaking noise. There are things that you can hear and you can sensory that everyone else may not hear or see or understand. Giving our kids or our adult kids the power to say, that light is bothering me. Great, now there's things we can do. We can sit and be stressed. We can go to another area of the room. We can walk outside. We can put on a baseball cap so it blocks it. We can do all kinds of things in order to fix that, or in order to change the antecedent of that happening. If a challenging behavior occurs for a long time, it means it's working. So that's the easiest way they're able to feel the response that they're looking for. Johnny is told it's time to brush his teeth. He falls to the floor crying and kicking. He shouts out milk. He's given a cup of milk. And he's told to go sit down in the kitchen while you're drinking it so you don't spill it. He stops crying, he sits down, and he drinks his milk. He didn't brush his teeth. All right, and then how likely are we to be like, okay, let's do this again. Now go brush your teeth. Right? This is my kid. She is never as thirsty as she is until it's 5 minutes before bedtime. She is a camel right before bedtime. And then she won't drink again all day long, I swear. She has to wait because that's the way that she avoids going to bed. So running away when a parent calls to get ready for bed. Stall tactics before bedtime. That's my kid right there, Parker. She's a cutie. Substituting words or avoiding phrases in conversations that are difficult or triggers for stuttering. Whining about difficult math problems when a parent helps with homework. All of these things are things that we're doing to try to get out of a behavior or escape it altogether if we're already starting, or just avoid it so we don't have to get into it. So some strategies that we can work on are offering breaks. Teach them to ask for a break. It's okay to take a break. We at work take a break. Like imagine as if an adult, if we're sitting in a meeting and someone is getting underneath your skin, or the light is flickering, or you have to go to the restroom and someone says, nope, you're staying here. You're gonna flip a table. I mean, please don't. But you're gonna get to that point where you're like, what do I need to do to get out of here? So you can just ask for a break. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and run to the restroom really fast. And no one thinks that's strange. I teach my middle school kids, go get some water. And they're like, I'm not thirsty. And I'm like, be thirsty. Just go get some water. That's a socially appropriate way to leave a classroom, walk outside and go, whew, that sub is a lot. Using calming strategies to do difficult tasks, whether you want to take a couple pages, do things, homework assignment from backwards to front, only do the odd numbers tonight and the even numbers tomorrow. All the different things we can do. Do you want to stand up and do your homework? Would you like to sit down and do your homework? I was the type of teacher, I didn't care if you were on top of your head. Just do the work. It does not matter to me. Makes tasks easier, make them fun, or make games out of them. Shorter work sessions and then take a break. And offer choices or order the tasks are completed. You can brush your teeth first or brush your hair. My children both have hair that goes all the way down their back, but they hate to brush. And I'm like, I'll cut it off. That's not the right answer, apparently. But so they can choose to brush their teeth or brush their hair first. I don't care. They just both have to happen. That does make me laugh, though. We just decorated the Christmas tree at my house, and apparently I am the Christmas tyrant when it comes to Christmas tree decoration, which I did not realize until this year, as they all made, like, they decorated and I went behind them and fixed things because they didn't do it right. So I'm going to take some of these strategies home as well, so they don't have escape maintain behavior when it comes to Christmas tree decorating. Some of my favorite things to do, my favorite one is easy, 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 hard. So we're going to start doing things that are easy that we know they know how to do, and then give them one thing that's hard. Learning how to load the dishwasher, it was really simple at first. Like, I just need you to put the cups in the top row. Then it was put the cups in the top row, and then I need you to put the plates in the bottom. And then the very last thing, it was like scrub a pot. It really wasn't that hard, but it was in her eyes, and that was a very difficult task. And so we did things that were really easy, and it kind of builds up. Less work as the work gets done. Some of our kiddos, when we work with them, we're like, hey, if you'll just start, I'll come and help you. When I say clean your room, I really mean if you can just pick up one thing, I'm gonna swoop in like the type A mom that I am, and I'm gonna clean it up the way that I want it cleaned up, but at least you've started. So then we can make it happen a little bit faster. Using visuals or schedules, and then again, token boards or things so that they can get reinforced for it. Attention maintained behavior. Attention can be anything, whether it's a reprimand or whether it's praise. We want to make sure that we are really aware of how much attention we're giving to things. They can look very similar to escape maintain, which is why it's important to know the function of the behavior. So why is it happening? The best way to know a function, if you're not sure, is to talk to the team that worked with your kiddo. So if there's an evaluation that's happened on your kiddo, if there's a functional behavior assessment or a behavior intervention plan, the like FBAs and the BIPs and the ABCDs and all the things that we talk about in the SPED world. But that'll let you know what the function is. And then we can work on an appropriate replacement behavior. So whining, fighting, swearing, yelling out to get attention, running away if you know that everybody's gonna chase you through the store. So the purpose of those is to gain attention. We wanna make sure that we're not reinforcing them on accident. So planned ignoring can be a little bit difficult sometimes. I had a teacher one time tell me that she was doing planned ignoring for a behavior, and I was like, he's asleep. Ignoring that is not changing anything that's happening. We're gonna have to be more active in this. Making sure we're doing non-contingent attention. And that doesn't have to be praise planned. We have a student that we're working with right now. He has attention-seeking behavior. We give non-contingent attention every 6 minutes. The timer goes off in my pocket every 6 minutes, and we look over and just make sure we are praising and talking, and hey, I like your shoes, and what did you do this weekend, and how are these things going? And he's like, good. It just kind of, you can see it like fill him up, and then he's back to doing his work. But we know that's what he wants, is that attention, and that's what he's craving. We can do extra time together. We can do reading books together. We can do playing outside. This is one of the largest, working with kiddos that are attention maintained behavior is a piece we really have to look at. Christmas time, you work really hard, or you earn something and you're like, hey, you've earned a chance to go get a Lego set. So they get the Lego set, but then they're not interested in it anymore. Because it may not have been a tangible that they were looking for, but the attention that comes with it. So they may just be wanting you to sit and play Legos with them, or spend time with them. My littlest one lives right here. Like, we had to pry her off tonight to go be with her dad so she could do things that she needed to do. And it's attention from me that she craves. And so that's a piece that we've had to figure out in our house, is it's me that she wants to be with, and him she wants to do cool stuff with. But I'm the one she just wants to like suck the oxygen off my face. It's great. We're fine. So tangible maintain is the second piece we talked about, or the third one. We want what we want, and we want it right now. So what do we do if what we want is not available? We can behavior map it out. We can alter alternatives. We can look at different choices. I do not expect anyone to have the green Skittle in their pocket ready to go at all times. Please try. I'm just kidding, right? But we all know that moment when you're like, if I could just find. So having those choices and having those options, and maybe it's a preferred item, and then we have like 3 less preferred items that are still really cool, but maybe not that one thing, because the entire Barbie car can't go everywhere with us in our life. But maybe a Barbie tiger can, if that's also can be cool. So as adults, we typically can wait, we can be patient, we can regulate, but many of our kids still need practice. We can teach our kids how to get what they want in appropriate ways, and making sure that their needs are being met, set the environment up for success. We all have that cabinet in our house. If it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And you're like, do not let them see the ELF. Because we have the ELF at our house. Baby Bernadette's in the back, so I don't want to ruin Christmas cheer for her. But if the ELF could never come back to my house again, I would be perfectly fine. Because he is on my last nerve. So We're going to build in opportunities to get the things, the persons, and the people that they want, as long as they're doing the appropriate behaviors in order to get them. So here's, say what you mean and mean what you say. Lily takes a whole snack-sized bag of Skittles from the pantry. You see her and you direct her to put it back, and you say, it's dinner time. First eat your dinner, then you can have 4 Skittles. See what we did? That's that first thing we talked about earlier. Even if Lily cries or tantrums for 3 minutes and you give her the Skittles before dinner, she's gonna figure out that if I throw the tantrum and I make it bigger and louder and more awesome, I'm gonna get that candy. These are the kids, we see these kids sometimes in the grocery store. They've been my children. We all mess up. It's okay. But my kid gave me the opportunity to try again. So the next time when she threw her stuff down on the ground, I said, I'm gonna put these Skittles in my purse, and we're gonna get to the car. And if you can get to the car without making loud sounds out of your mouth, when we get to the car, you can have 2 Skittles. She said that I wanted 4, and I said, well, there's 2 on the table right now. You wanna take it or you wanna leave it? I don't think I was teaching her gambling, but it's fine. The last one we're going to look at is sensory maintained behavior. These can be a little bit harder because this you have to think really far outside of the box. It's part of the stereotyped and repetitive behaviors. Sometimes it can be called, we really want to look at how disruptive is the behavior. So targeting behaviors that are potentially dangerous, extremely dangerous, or something that limits the kids' opportunities for inclusion and socialization, we do want to step in immediately with those. We want to observe the behavior. Think about what's reinforcing about this right now. Is it when they do one of these sensory behaviors, we all respond, so then we give attention to it? Is it whenever they do a behavior like this, we remove the audience and everyone else, so now we've escaped it? Or what is it that we're actually getting for the function of this behavior? Provide a range of sensory toys and activity to see what they kind of gravitate towards. Incorporate sensory breaks into the day. Include them on your schedule. And I would even challenge like sensory and non-sensory. So just time to get all the noise shut out, all the lights and sounds shut out, and just kind of be. This is me at the stoplight outside of my office when I get out of work and I roll all the windows down. And I just sit there for a second. And the breeze comes through and the radio's off, and I just have a second to really feel. Because all day long it's felt like things are kind of coming at me all the time. You can create visuals for the commonly used sensory toys so that your students can ask for it. I have a cube somewhere. Ruby had it a second ago running around with it. So it's a cube that stays in my car. So if there's really bad traffic or things are happening, I can give my kiddos something to fidget with or something to do. Many sensory activities that we have little baggies sometimes, or like pencil pouches. You can put a lot of different things in, a lot of different trinkets. My husband got the nails that are together. They're like wrapped together, and he like dulled the ends so they're not sharp, and you can somehow get them apart some way that I haven't magically figured out how to do it at 40-something years of age. But my children love things like that, and it just kind of gives them a moment to use their hands. They're both very hands-on. Look for activities that you can do that are reinforcing, but that are not dangerous or things like that. Tearing paper, beads, Play-Dohs, putting Play-Doh or beads on pipe cleaners if you are a fan of pipe cleaners. I am not. They are weird. Some people are. Pipe cleaners are so strange. They're like fuzzy, but they're not. So you can have specific spots within your house. Like if you are going to do sensory toys, you can do them right here. Sensory items, you can have them over here. We call it the Play-Doh corner on our table. There's one corner of our table that is Play-Doh only. It does not go anywhere else in my house, and we do not allow slime in my house because, again, I'm an awful mean parent. But if you ask my children. But the Play-Doh stays right there in that area, and they know at any point in time there's a basket and they can get Play-Doh out of it and they can put it back in. And if the Play-Doh's dried, I just throw it away and buy more. It's okay because I know where it's going to be. Not all of these things are bad. We don't necessarily have to get rid of things, but we may look at ways to make them a little bit more discreet. There's a scrunchie in my pocket that I can play with while I'm speaking in front of people and I get a little bit nervous, and that's less discreet than zipping my necklace 100 miles an hour or playing with my hair, right? So you kind of learn how to put things that make you a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more confident. but also how they can be discreet so that everyone's not distracted from it. Except for now, everyone's looking at me playing with the scrunchie in my pocket because I've now mentioned it. It's okay. So some different examples are biting, head banging, skin picking, hand flapping, vocal tics, rocking, jumping, hand clapping. And again, with this list, I'm sure you can see the ones that we want to immediately put things in place for to keep kiddos safe, and the ones that were like, yeah, they jump. It's okay. We had a big performance happen in our school here recently, and the kiddo in the front row, bright and center, he loved every single second of that performance, and he jumped and clapped the entire time, and he wasn't the only one off beat. And that's okay. He had a wonderful, great time. Nobody was hurt, nobody was injured, and he had the time of his life. And so did the kids around him, knowing that he was enjoying what he was doing. So if there's oral fixations, we can have chewing gum, pressure, having different peppermints or things or flavors or tastes in your mouth, fidgeting toys, tapping your foot. It's interesting if you go to your offices and you look at the number of people that are tapping or constantly fidgeting, and you can start to kind of like, ooh, what's going on over there? Right? Or do they have a scrunchie in their pocket? I'm not really sure. Headphones help out. Even my husband has headphones that he wears every day at work because it just takes one layer of noise off. If you can just take one layer of sound away, imagine how different things would be. Oh, look, I talked. I mean, I'm done. So these are some great things and some great tools. If you guys have any questions in particular, feel free. I was trying to find a slide that's like a good place to just sit in case you guys do have. There's a good one. I like it. So if you guys have any questions or anything for me, I'm going to be hanging out for a little bit over here on the side. I love the fact that I never really ask at the beginning how long I'm supposed to talk. I just kind of go, and no one pushes me off the stage. So it seems to work out really well. We have 30 minutes. We are going to talk for 30 minutes.
We don't have to, but
I love this. If you guys have questions in the next 30 minutes, you are more than welcome to ask, grab a little sandwich in the back or some crackers, hang out, mingle, and visit with each other, and enjoy the beautiful baby. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for her to come out of that car seat for a very long time, so I'm glad this is happening right now.
Anybody have a question they want to ask from your seat?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Our son is 9 and he's autistic, relatively high functioning, but there's a receptive and expressive communication delay that is kind of along with his autism. The biggest challenge that I would say that we have in the day-to-day life at home are transitions, and we make a big point to not surprise him with things. We have a very consistent schedule at home. Everything is really very predictable. But the predictable behaviors that aren't, or actions that aren't his favorite, can be, even if it's going to be a fun thing, like we're going to get in the truck and we're going to do X, Y, and Z, something fun. It's just the transition from anything is a point for him to, it's just a little bit of a struggle. And he's happy and he's laughing and he thinks it's funny. There's a little bit of escape in there. And so even though I share with him early on what the plan is going to be, we do a lot of first and then, the transitions are still really challenging.
Yeah, when you say struggle and challenging, what does that look like?
Could you summarize real quick for the people on Facebook what
Oh.
she said?
Yes. She's got a kiddo, he's 9, and super awesome and amazing, and he doesn't like transitions. He likes to do the things, it's just the piece from getting to A to B.
Yes.
Can get a little bit murky in the middle. That A and a half isn't our favorite place to live. And so I just said, like, what does it look like? What does a struggle look like?
Sure. So let's say he has decided he has a couple of places in the house that are his favorite places in the house. One is the dining room table, and the other would be to go, into his room. And if we know we have an activity or even brushing our teeth is coming up, before he goes either to the bedroom or changes his location, we say, okay, you can go to your room for 5 minutes, but in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, we're going to be leaving to go to the store. We're going to brush our teeth at big old laugh and he runs off and he, wherever, you know, he just retreats to a location and he really wants to be kind of encouraged to be removed from that. And sometimes you have the time to say, okay, well, we're not gonna go to the store now and let you pick out a cookie.
Right.
But sometimes you don't have the time to give them a chance to make the decision. So it's it's a big fun thing for him. He'll run away and retreat to wherever he doesn't need to be.
The opposite direction of where you need him. This is probably typically where he goes.
Feral sometimes, yes.
That's okay. And so what she was saying is that he's escaping the task or escaping the challenge by going somewhere else, and then really kind of probably likes the attention that's coming from the like, no, but really we have to go like right now. So with every amazing recommendation I'm going to get, it's going to start with it depends.
Right.
Always. So some things that you could even try. I love that you're giving him the time of like, this is what's happening and we're leaving in 5 minutes. It would be interesting if you gave it like really early, like, hey, you have 10 minutes and now you have 5 minutes and now you have 2 minutes, or if that would be too much, or if you shorten the time and it was like, okay, 45 seconds, can you get in the truck now? And then as you're going to the truck, you're like, here's what we're doing. So either one of those to kind of see, because the time sample does help out. I assume you guys, because you mentioned using like visuals and schedules and things along those lines. How does he do with like tangible stuff? Of like, we're going to the store, here is the blah, blah, blah to carry.
Right. He appreciates that. Like, hey, what toy do you want to take to the truck with us today? He's really food motivated, but I try not to lean to that all the time because their nutritional choices are not always the best when they have
Mine either.
issues. So there's only so many rewards that you can do that are food based. But so yes, we're like, okay, what toy do we want to take?
Or even a job. Like, can you take this for me? Can you take the grocery list? Can you carry Dad's bag to the truck for him? Can you? So it's not like a here's the thing that we're doing. It's like, here's what I need you to do.
Sure.
Can you do this task?
Can you do that more?
And then
Okay.
just trap. I'm just kidding. Don't just trap him. But then you can have that conversation as you're going. Since he's going the other way, at least you got him routed in the right direction.
Right.
But then it's kind of giving him that task or that tool. I know sometimes when we go into lifting practice with some of my boys, they don't want to work out that day. But instead of dwelling on it, I'm like, hey, can you carry the weight belts in? And can you carry this in? And can you do this? And they get inside and it's like, okay, can you go pick up that plate? And can you move over here? And then finally one of them will go, is this lifting weights? And I'm like, this is lifting weights. And I'm like, you do it every time. And I'm like, I do every time, guys. I just gotta think of 1/2 of a step ahead of you. So that might be something to try too, of giving him not just necessarily like a tangible, but a task that's associated with it.
Sure.
To see if that might be something that he's interested in picking up and kind of helping out with.
Okay, that's great. Oh, yeah, we have, yes. We do, I need to do that more, but my husband was explaining that we were in the grocery store and he was kind of done, and the focus of the trip to the store wasn't all about him, and so he had a job we were at the farm patch, and there's a lot of things they can break in there, especially the refrigerated section, all glass and jars. And so we put something in his hands, and we said, your job while we're at the farm patch is to hold the fried green tomato batter, and it was a really important job for him. So yeah, we need to do more of that.
Jobs
Good
are
for him. Good.
important, and jobs make the group feel like a cohesive group. Like we all have something to contribute to our group, and we all have something to kind of bring. And so my little one, her job this year is to wrap Christmas presents. Oh my gosh, we're doing great. But it's just bringing that cohesive piece together of now because she's the tiny little toaster. We call her the brave little toaster because she's really small. But now she's contributing to like the family morale and history, and she's like, I've got a job, and I'm like, it's a Christmas present.
She's empowered.
She is empowered. So yeah, that might be something really interesting to try.
Okay.
Oh, is the camera talking to me now?
Thank you.
Okay, good deal. Love that. Anybody else? Okay. So feel free to take some time, mingle, chat with each other. You are kid-free for 25 minutes. I'm just saying. Like, nah, I'm not rushing anybody anywhere. Y'all enjoy. There's probably a cookie or two in the back. Everyone's gonna look at me and be like, there's no cookies. But there may be, I'm not really sure. And then Ruby's up here, who I've also named Bernadette. So I'm gonna go see her. But thank you guys for having me. I enjoyed it all the time. These ladies know how to get in contact with me if you're ever like, hey, I have a question, but I didn't really want to talk in front of everybody. Like, that's okay too. But also, like, I want to empower you. It's okay to ask questions in front of others and to talk in front of others because you're not the only one. You're never the only one struggling with stuff. I have a 16-year-old. So again, shoe advice, I will be over here. If you know how to make a 16-year-old child turn back into a normal child, please let me know because she is tough right now. So thank you again, guys, for having me. If y'all need me, I'm going to be in that area.
Thank you.